Let's not begin with an answer. Let's begin with an observation. Many women never say, "I like pain," yet their behavior tells another story. The same choice repeated, the same type of man, the same ending almost every time. And then the question that always arrives too late: why does this keep happening to me? That question doesn't come from nowhere. It comes after effort, after disappointment, after promises that never fully arrive. And still, the pattern repeats. From a psychoanalytic perspective, this is not seen as weakness, not as lack of intelligence, not as a moral failure. It is seen as a language spoken by the unconscious when it has no other way to speak. And if you find yourself listening to this kind of analysis and feeling something shift inside you, it's probably because you're not looking for quick advice. You're looking for understanding. That is exactly the kind of exploration we continue here. Love, from this perspective, is not a rational choice. It is an inner movement that happens before decision. A woman may say, "I know he hurts me," but knowing alone does not stop attraction. Because what is moving here is not thought, but emotional memory. The unconscious does not operate by logic. It operates by repetition. What was unresolved in the past tries to reappear in the present, not because pain is desired, but because the psyche is still searching for a solution. This is the core of the matter. There are early experiences that never fully disappear, even when we can't remember them clearly. Moments when love felt like this: present, then withdrawn, offered, then taken away. Something that required effort to keep. These moments leave a silent imprint, and silent imprints do not vanish. They disguise themselves. As a woman grows and enters romantic relationships, she may not be seeking love itself, but a familiar emotional atmosphere, even if that atmosphere is charged with anxiety, even if it hurts, because the pain here is not foreign. It is recognizable. This leads to a dangerous confusion. The unconscious can merge love with tension. If closeness in early life was linked to fear of loss, then calmness later on may feel unfamiliar or even empty, not because suffering is desired, but because the body and psyche never learned what safe love feels like. In psychoanalysis, this is called repetition. The psyche recreates an old experience in the hope that this time the ending will change. A woman does not return to a harmful man because she doesn't see the damage, but because, unconsciously, she hopes pain will finally transform into recognition, attention, complete love. But the ending rarely changes. This is where inner conflict begins. One part says, "This hurts me." Another part says, "But this feels familiar." And that division is psychologically exhausting. You recognize this struggle in yourself or in others. Staying with this kind of reflection may help you see the pattern before it quietly repeats again. There is also a deep symbolic layer in how love forms. The image of the father, not the father as a person alone, but as a psychological representation, a representation of value, attention, and the look that says you matter. When this representation is unstable, absent or conditional, the psyche may later seek a partner who recreates the same emotional dynamic. Not because the man resembles the father, but because the feeling resembles the past. From this, a woman may feel drawn to a man who is difficult to reach, emotionally distant, unclear, inconsistent, because the unconscious interprets distance as opportunity, an opportunity to prove worth, to earn love, to finally rewrite the story. But love cannot be earned through struggle alone. When love becomes a test, it becomes draining. There is another layer, rarely spoken about openly: guilt. Some women feel guilt after intimacy, after desire, after closeness. Not always because of the act itself, but because of an internal conflict between desire and internalized ideals. That guilt can unconsciously push the psyche toward relationships that punish it emotionally, as if pain restores inner balance. This is why simple advice fails. Saying, "Just leave him," does not dissolve attraction. Saying, "You deserve better," does not reprogram the unconscious. Because the unconscious does not respond to direct instruction. It responds only to what remains unresolved. The real question is not, why does a woman choose a man who hurts her? The real question is, what remains unresolved inside her? What old story is still searching for an ending? Understanding is not blame, and it is not justification. It is illumination. Without that light, repetition continues, quietly, unconsciously, relentlessly. Psychoanalysis does not promise quick relief. What it offers is something deeper, the ability to see. And once a pattern is seen, your position toward it begins to change. It may not disappear immediately, but its grip weakens, because what is seen no longer controls in the same way. A woman does not always choose who she loves, but she can come to understand why she loves the way she does. And from that understanding, a different path begins, calmer, more honest, and less painful. If this kind of exploration speaks to you, if these questions resemble the ones you carry quietly, then subscribing here is not about following a channel. It's about continuing a kind of reflection that doesn't comfort but awakens.